Welcome to part 2 of Java variables, and in this episode we are going to talk about printing variables. So printing Java variables, when you want to display, the print line method is often used to display variables, as we have been seeing this. And to combine both text and a variable, we use a plus, and this is also called concatenation, like you're grouping text and a variable name. For example, if you we can do this in our IntelliJ. Okay, so let's create a new file and call it print variables.java. So only class print variables, and then public static void main taking screen commands. So we want to declare a string, and the variable name, let's say name or course name, and say learn Java programming with Alvin David. So that's our variable name, course name. So we want to print, and we are using the print line, but we want to print text and the variable course name. So we want to say welcome to learn Java programming with Alvin David. So you put the text in double quotes and you say welcome to the space, then you add the plus sign for concatenation, and then you say course name. So when you run this file, you will see that it's going to print welcome to Java programming with Alvin David. So this is also known as concatenation when you're printing variables. So let's head back. You can also use the plus character to add a variable to another variable. So if at all you declare a string first name John and last name this, so you can create another variable which adds the two and you print that out. So we can try that. And so it says string first name is Alvin, and then string second name, okay, so this one is David. So we create a string which will add like both of them, and say full names is first name plus second name, and then we want to print full names. So it will add this and that, and then it will print Alvin David. Yes, just as you've seen this, Alvin David. So that's what like to add variables to another variable. So in Java, the plus symbol has two meanings. For text in bracket strings, it joins them together, which is called concatenation, and for numbers, it adds values together, as you saw this when we're doing the calculations for printing numbers. For numeric values, the plus character works as a mathematical operator. Like for this, we can also try this out. And we are dealing with integers. They say integer x is equal to, let me say 32, and integer y is equal to 34. So you say you need integer, let me say area, whereby let's just say sum, and we say you need to add x plus y. So you print sum, and we expect to get a 66. So that's that for printing the value x plus y. So the part of mixing text and numbers, be careful when combining text and numbers in the same line of code. Without parentheses, Java will treat the numbers as text after the first string. So we see here they declared an integer x as 5, integer y as 6, and they printed the line. The sum is this plus x plus y. So this prints the sum is, then it performs this calculation, whereby it's just going to add grouping, so 5 and 6. So this is taught in mathematics, that if at all you want like you want to perform a calculation in body mass, like brackets of division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction, you have to categorize, or you group the numbers according to the level of priority depending on the body mass. So it's also applied here like system of out. So you're telling the compiler that this is a text and we concatenated using this plus, but I need you to group x, which is 5, and add it with y, which is 6. That's why it prints the sum 11. So realize that that is the logic behind. So you have to put them in those braces, and then the explanation, yeah, that's, I've explained that. And the exercise, I've said drag and drop the correct method to print the variable in System.out.println. Okay, so next question. Drag and drop the correct variable to complete the statement. String name Jenny, System.out.print hello. So we need to print we are concatenating the string hello with name. So you just put name. You don't have to put name in again square brackets, because this is a variable name that you declared here. So then you submit it, and then next question. Drag and drop the correct expression to print the sum of x and y on one line. So you said int x. So this is also another way of declaring multiple variables, but whereby you don't have to again add int y. So you just say int, you make sure that they're on the same line. So we can do that here. So we are simply going to change this such that it goes to the next line, and then we come here and say you can do that, or you can write it, you say int. So since you can't declare like the same variable name, if you put int x, let me say is equal to let me say, okay, let's say 34. Realize that x has already been what? Declared up. So you're saying reuse previous variable x, so x has already been declared. So we are going to give x a different name. So we say x1, and then you come over here and say comma, and say y1 is equal to 32. And then so that's another way you can declare variables and variable names and giving them values without doing this. Like for each variable name you give it, it's like the data type, that int x, int y. So you just say int x1 is equal to the value, comma, and then y1. So the compiler will also know that y1 is also an integer. And when you print like their summation, you say x1 plus y1. And we'll bring a 66 once again. So they say drag and drop, so we are printing x plus y. And the next question, drag and drop the correct expression to print a total of 7. So we see A is 3, B is 4, System.out.print total is equal to, so you have to put A plus B in those braces to perform the mathematical calculations. So which method is often used to print variables? We use the print ln. And next question, insert the missing parts to combine both text and variables. So they declared a string name and pass the value John to it. System.out.print hello. So you just say name, hello plus, for concatenation, name. And next question is display the sum 5 plus 10 using two variables x and y. So you say int x is having a 5. So next question is create a variable called z, assign x plus y to it, and display the result. So int x is equal to 5, int y is equal to 10. So we are creating an integer called z, and we are saying z will be x plus y, and we are printing z to get to know what was x plus y, and I will get a 15. So that's all for printing variable names, I mean the variables. And the next episode we are going to multiple variables, where we are going to see other variables. So thank you for sticking on, and see you in the next one.